Andersen is one of those players that is playing Devotion, and Stowe is one of those players playing Mardu Dragons. So here you see decks 1 and 2 here in day number 2. Both these players 8 and 2. Stowe up a game, though. Looks like Andersen's got a pretty commanding position in this one. Playing a Temple of Abandon at this point. Top card is going to be scryed to the bottom. Wishbone Elemental on the battlefield along with a Manifest. Those are coming into the red zone. Will Manifest again, pass the turn back over to Stowe, who untaps his single Nomad Outpost. Looks like he picked up a copy of Crux of Fate right now, which actually decent on this board.
Yep. It's good timing since he's facing lethal next turn.
I've seen worse draw steps.
And Chris with not a lot left over by the looks of things. I think just an Arbor Colossus.
There is Crux of Fate. Now, if Chris has something he can unmorph, this would be good for him, as he's not able to unmorph Elvish Mystic. Okay, so this actually works out really good for Chris, because now he gets to sacrifice Whispered Elemental, and now he gets 2 more Manifest.
Yeah, if those are just lands down there, then Chris is in trouble, but very, very good here for him to be able to keep some Manifest tokens going to the next turn, knock Jeremy down to 2.
See the hand of Arbor Colossus, Plummet, and Rattleclaw Mystic in hand. Gonna give those beatdowns. Here's a copy of Arbor Colossus. Pass the turn back. Stowe will quickly untap, take a draw. Picked up a copy of Kolaghan's Command. This is Nelspeth, Sun's Champion. That makes soldiers. Those are chump blockers.
Yep, we play on.
Yep. See if Chris has a way to get those last few points of damage through. This is a card that's actually pretty good against Devotion, too.
It requires some setup. I mean, you have to be killing stuff, and it can't just be your play on turn 6. But if you're able to buy yourself time with a lot of removal spells, Elspeth could be a game winner.
Den Protector, a really, really nice draw for Andersen this turn. He'll play a morph, pass the turn, the ability to unmorph that thing. That was a big draw for him. Stowe with some options in hand. Looks like a Kolaghan's Command among those cards. There's also Kolaghan the Storm's Fury in hand as well. Battlefield Forge into Kolaghan.
I believe one of the cards left over in Chris's hand is Plummet.
That is correct.
In which case, we should be going to game 3 in a moment here.
Yeah, Den Protector can unmorph, return a card, and then Plummet can take care of the dragon. You can slide right by the tokens if that's the case. Andersen gonna unmorph, maybe, not just yet. There's a Plummet. Yep, doesn't even need to flip up the Den Protector. Of course, he needs to reveal it at the conclusion of the game, which he will do. And there is Den Protector. One of the Manifest cards was a Plummet, the other was a Nykthos. And these players are ready for game number 3 here, as Chris Andersen will tie things up against Jeremy Stowe. Green-Red Devotion, the #1 play deck in day number 2. Does win game number 2 against Mardu Dragons, the number 2 deck here on day number 2. Take a look at the sideboards. We'll start with Stowe. He's got 4 Aegir of the Gods, 3 Outpost Siege, 2 Read the Bones, 2 Crux of Fate, a Duress, a Thoughtseize, an Elspeth, and a Kolaghan's Command. And we saw some of those cards in that short sideboard again. We already know that Elspeth's in there, Kolaghan's Command, at least 1 Aegir of the Gods, and at least 1 Crux of Fate.
And no surprise there. He just wants sweepers and a powerful top end, and the Anger of the Gods and the Elspeth provide that. Kolaghan's Command to me is an interesting card because it's not like there's a lot of artifacts going on here, not a lot of removal in Chris's deck either. So he's basically looking at shock plus discard a card for 3 mana, which still could be acceptable against Green Devotion decks, but there's not going to be any huge blowouts most of the time because Chris is not cooperating with the other modes of Kolaghan's Command.
What do we see from Mr. Andersen?
Ugin the Spirit Dragon, an Arbor Colossus, a Windstorm, 2 Plummets, 3 Den Protectors, 3 Hornet Nests, 2 Rose, 2 Nissa Worldwaker. I think that Chris just wants to bring in the cards that are powerful against a deck with a lot of removal, the 2 copies of Nissa, the 3 copies of Den Protector, and then some anti-flying measures, some mixture of Plummets and Windstorms. Arbor Colossus should be coming in as well.
Well, we talked about SCG Game Night here very quickly as these players do get ready here for game number 3. The Bunny is our June promo. Not a lot of time left to get it, but we got some sweet one comings for July and August.
Of course, and if you're not familiar with this promotion, every month we send out a new kit of pins and foil tokens. The stores can run game night however they want to any day of the week, sanctioned or unsanctioned, any format. Just get players in your store for some fun and friendly magic. This is the June kit. You're running out of time. This is next month's kit, which is July. Too late to get signed up for July, but if you want to get signed up for the August kit, which we have here, a banana thieving monkey, which we'll have up on the screen momentarily, head over to StarCityGames.com/game night or contact your Star City Games organized play representative.
So we need a name for that monkey.
Okay, I'll think about it.
The name for the pig is pretty easy and straightforward.
What about Furious George?
Sometimes you just nail it on first
there we go.
That's really impressive. That's really impressive. Furious George the monkey.
Yeah.
Yep, lock it in. Just lock it in. I was going to call the pig is obviously Babe because because what else would it be called? But Furious George, yeah, that works for me.
Yep.
For August, once we get there, which it'll be like tomorrow, basically, we'll have Furious George.
Sweet.
It's a good name. Proud of you.
We were going to call, it would have been a really good name to just call him Bananas, but we named the slave dog.
The slave dog on Tasker, yeah. That's already taken. You can't just reuse the name.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So now we'll go with Furious George.
He looks pretty happy, but
Oh yeah.
I'm sure he has moments of anger.
Yes.
Chris Andersen, a player who did top 8 our Season 1 Invitational earlier this year with Green White Devotion before being dispatched by Reed Duke in the semifinals in what was a highly entertaining affair. Reed went on to lose in the finals to his good friend Jacob Wilson. And that's why we now have a Monastery Monk token with Jacob's likeness on it. We'll see him at the end of the year at the Players' Championship. Looking forward to that tournament. Got 5 really, really skilled players qualified for that bad boy.
I'm really excited that the roster is getting mixed up a little bit too.
Yeah.
I mean, we already have Jacob Wilson qualified. We have Ali Antrazi qualified. They did not participate last year, and so it'll be good to see some fresh faces.
Yeah. Of course, we will also have Kevin Jones, Jim Davis, and Brad Nelson back. Brad Nelson looking to defend the title. See if he is capable of that. Chris going to take a long look at his hand. Doesn't look too thrilled with what he sees. And Stowe will be on the play here this game. Looks like Chris is going to keep Quetzalcoatlus and a Thoughtseize. Let's see what you were wondering. A Windstorm, a Pelucranos, a Dragonlord, a Tarka, a Pelucranos, and only 2 lands. Chris did mulligan.
Yeah. This hand, I think, is a fine keep on 6, but you can see why Chris was thinking for a while. This is not good.
Yeah. The thing about Green Art Devotion is that it's basically a ramp deck, and ramp decks do not mulligan particularly well.
And you're playing against a guy with a bunch of Thoughtseizes and removal spells. Like, you just kind of, you can only go so far down, but...
There goes Windstorm. Andersen will take a draw step. Picked up a Rattleclaw Mystic. That's certainly step 1.
Yeah. It's a good draw.
Thunderbreak reaching the draw here for Stowe. He's got a mountain. He'll pass the turn back over to Andersen. Andersen will take a draw. It's a forest. There's Rattleclaw Mystic. Kick it back. Stowe picked up a copy of Thoughtseize. Does have a 3rd land in Battlefield Forge. His mana base is a little painful here.
And I think he might be out of lands here. Crux of Fate in hand.
Also has Crackling Doom. There's a forest off the top for Chris. He'll play a Pelucranos. That's going to die. Crackling Doom will take care of that. Stowe has to take 2 to cast it. But he does get the 5/5 off the board. Stowe will draw a card. It's a mountain. That's a pretty big draw. Allows him to cast Thunderbreak Regent.
But you can see why Chris didn't want to go down to 5 cards, even with his hand being this bad. He's just playing against a lot of 1-for-1s.
A couple of creatures here in Pelucranos. And Elvish Mystic pass the turn back. He's got to hope for Stowe not to draw a Black Source. Or another dragon. Here's an attack for 4. Though if Andersen draws a land here, he's oddly enough right back in this thing.
He's got a shot here.
Oh boy, it was a land. There's the battlefield tap. This is oftentimes the case.
Yes.
It seems like every time we watch this feels like it oftentimes is the case.
And if Jeremy finds untapped black mana next turn,
Yeah, this game's over then.
yeah, it's done.
And here's an attack with the Rattleclaw Mystic. Well, Chris actually gets to free roll a little bit here. Yeah, because now he gets to fight. So this actually ends up working pretty good. He does take a lot of damage from this. But there are worse spots to be in. Gets a Thunder Break Region off the board. Stowe will draw a card. It's a copy of Temple of Triumph. It's 8/8. And Stowe might actually have to
Hang back and chump, yeah.
Yeah. This changed. in a big way.
I mean, Jeremy's still in pretty solid shape here if he can get to land number 5, but it's not as comfortable as it looked like it was going to be earlier.
Well, he's got to get to he's got to get to black source number 2.
Yes.
That's the problem. Because land number 5 just entered the battlefield with the temple, and he's considering what to scry right now, but he doesn't have black source number 2 for the crux. Looks like that card's going to go to the bottom from the scry. He can't attack because he's facing lethal. And now all of a sudden, if Chris is oh boy. Here's Dragon Lord Atarka. That kills that.
And I'm surprised there that Jeremy did not Thoughtseize. Because he knew Dragon Lord Atarka was there. Chris scribed to the top and made that awkward attack with his mana creature. It's got to be an untapped land.
This just feels like thievery by Chris. Yeah, Bloodstained Mire when he's at 1. And even those Cruxes, even if he was able to cast Crux, he